Welcome back to Business Today. And I told you, everyone wants to be paid, but you want to be paid in the most efficient way. Have you ever gone into a shop and you've purchased your 3 eggs and you've been told these eggs are 48 bob, and you have your money on M-Pesa and you check the option that you have to transfer money from here to here, then you go here, instant payment. Why aren't we have instant payment in the country? Now, this is the discussion that we need to have right now, and we are having. I'm joined in studio by Gituku Kiriga, who's the CEO of Integrated Payment Services Limited. Mr. Gituku, welcome to Business Today.
Thank you, Noah.
Wow. So, payment is your world.
Yes, yeah? It is.
And one of the bragging rights for Kenya, everywhere we go, we normally start. You know, I'm from Kenya.
Yes.
And yeah, we are the M-Pesa guys.
Yeah.
We take pride in that.
Yep.
From the M-Pesa era, talk to me about the evolution of payment systems in the country, especially mass that is consumed by majority of Kenyans. How have we evolved and where are we right now?
All right. So yeah, you're right. We are a mobile money country. We are known as a mobile money country, right? And and behind that is M-Pesa, which we're all very proud of. Mm-hmm. And what mobile money is, and what we do as well, is instant payments, mm-hmm. right? So we are both in the world of instant payments, mobile money and PesaLink, the service that we offer under Integrated Payment Services Limited. We are otherwise known as PesaLink mm-hmm.
by
the market. And what we focus on primarily is movement of funds instantly between bank accounts.
Okay.
Right? However, we're not limited to bank accounts. Right? So within the PesaLink ecosystem, and just for purposes of your audience, PesaLink was established by the Kenya Bankers Association, right, back in 2017. Right, we started getting the first participants we had on board was banks, right? But today we have got a lot of non-banks on board. We've got circles, we've got fintechs, we've got PSPs, right? We've got microfinance banks as well, and hey, we also have a telco. Right? So Telcom Kenya, right? Tcash is also within the PesaLink ecosystem. So within all those entities, the different stores of value that they have, we're able to move money instantly from one store of value to another store of value. And we can support that for different type of use cases. So you could be just sending money to a friend. Okay. You could be settling a bill, for example, say school fees. So, a lot of the flows that we see going through our ecosystem today largely are salaries, rental payments, the savings as well, right? And interestingly, about 50% of our payments today are business related. That's either an individual paying money to a business or business paying money to individuals or even business to business. So how has it evolved today? Instant payments in this country has come a long way, right? It's, today, yes, the lion's share of it is within the mobile money space, right? If you look at it globally, though, right? Markets like India, markets like Brazil, right, and Nigeria, right? There, 80–90% of all the instant payments are done within the banking space, right? Bank accounts and also wallets through fintech wallets, right? What we are seeing there is that there's a huge shift of payments towards account-to-account transfers, which, like you said earlier on, when you don't have to have multiple hops in an ecosystem, when you have an open ecosystem, then you're able to cut down on the hassle, what we call friction in our industry, when people have to move money from one place to another place.
Okay.
So
that's quite interesting. You're talking now account to account, looking at the markets that you've mentioned, for example, India, and looking at Kenya where we are. What can help us facilitate? What is the motivation? What is the sort of the incentive of moving to where they are, account to account, as opposed, I know you've mentioned the issue of friction. What does friction cause on a larger scale?
Okay, so what PesaLink's vision is one of an open and interoperable payment space, right? So that means that, like I've just alluded to earlier on, that one is able to move money from one ecosystem to another ecosystem without much of a hassle, right? Seamlessly, as we would say. When we have, say, the banks integrate to us, we have MFIs integrate to us, we have telcos integrate to us as well. Like, let me give the example of Telcom with Tcash. So when Tcash, wanted to be able to facilitate movement of monies from Tcash to a bank account or vice versa, they came to us, and we were able to integrate them into the PesaLink ecosystem, and immediately now consumers can move money from that ecosystem to this ecosystem, right, without the banks or Telcom having to get into bilateral arrangements, which are time-consuming, are costly as well. What we are out to do as IPSL and as PesaLink is to deliver on open, interoperable payments, so that we can reduce the friction, we can reduce the barriers, we can be able, therefore, to drive inclusivity, collaboration within the payment space, and so that payment participants, right, can just focus on providing real value to their consumers without having to worry so much about different technologies and different ways of speaking to each other and entering with bilateral arrangements.
And I'm glad you've touched on it already in regards to the impact. I'm looking at it from a macro perspective and a national perspective. When you have an efficient payment system in a country, what does that portend for the economy, specifically that? And businesses, because I know majority of our businesses fall under the macro, small and medium-sized enterprises. We've always talked about integrating them and bringing them into different nets that you talk about, the government talks about, tax net, the private sector talks about, coming into the digital net and whatnot. Talk to me about when you have an integrated and efficient system of moving money from one player to the other. What does that do to the economy?
I think let me answer that question with some real examples that we see, right? So one of the biggest, again, use cases that we see in our space as PesaLink is payments for vehicles, and people are buying vehicles on the weekends. Right? So if there's one particular industry that knows about us and knows about PesaLink extremely well, is the car dealership industry. Right, and so you need to purchase a vehicle. A lot of it happens on the weekends, right? The dealers know that if you want to secure the vehicle, they want to secure the deal, right? Then PesaLink, instant account-to-account transfer, right, is the ideal solution. Right, so we see a lot of activity there, and so that keeps that industry, going. We've also, recently looked at our numbers in terms of when are people transacting with us, and we find a peak, right, just after 5 o'clock, between 5 and 6, right, is when we see a peak in our transaction volumes. It's one of the times in the day when we see a peak. There are 2 times we see a peak in the day, and one of them is just around 5 o'clock, which is a time that banks are closing or have closed, right, and also businesses are coming to a close, right, and so the fact that we see a peak at that time also just tells you what we are doing in terms of the importance of having instant 24/7 efficient and reliable money transfer services available. Then with us as well, when you talk about instant payments, it's in any market, it's about a 24-hour service. So we are glad to be able to be powering instant payments, like I've just said, not just after 5 o'clock, but throughout the weekend. Right? What it means is that you need to make salary disbursements.
Yes.
Right? You can't do it by 5 o'clock, right, on a Friday for whatever good reason, right? With instant payments, right, powered by PesaLink, you can do so on a Saturday morning. Right? You can do salaries on a Sunday, right? And that's very important, particularly when it comes to low-value payments. Right? You don't want to keep recipients of low-value payments waiting, because the impact to them from an economic perspective when they're denied funds at a particular point in time is huge, right, compared to those with higher income status.
Definitely. Slightly touched, we have close to 3 minutes. Regulations and how regulations shape and sort of catalyze growth of instant payment within our ecosystem. I know you guys have KBA, product, as you've rightly indicated earlier on. How has been the regulatory environment? Is it enabling? Are there changes that we're seeing being introduced in the regulation space to take Kenya to the next space when it comes to matters instant payment?
No, that's a very timely question, right? If I only this morning I was, having some intense conversations with my team because we are in the process of giving feedback to the central bank on the review of the National Payment Systems Act. The exercise commenced last year. It was put into last year's budget, and the central bank is spearheading that. So as industry participants, alongside the other 35 or so payment service providers that are licensed under the National Payment and System Act, we are working with the central bank and providing our feedback on that. So what I would say to date, right? First of all, we have a regulator that paved way for mobile money, which is great, something to be very proud of. We've had a very good relationship with our regulator, right? Constantly engaging them and getting their aligning our strategies to their strategy as well, which is captured in the payment strategy and vision that was put out in 2022. What we would like to see happening going forward is, from a regulatory perspective, one of the things that would really be useful for the economy and the payment participants is the introduction, say, for example, of a regulatory sandbox. Right? What that would do is, from an innovation perspective, it would allow players like ourselves and other payment participants, right, to try out new things in a controlled environment, right? And so that means is that we can develop a product. Right? We then take it to the regulator, where we would then get permission, right, to try out the product, right, within a closed loop environment. Limited number of users, limited transactions, limited value in terms of Kenyan shilling going through the ecosystem, right? And the regulator then would also pay very keen attention to that. That we would report back to the regulator. So when you're actually going and saying, "Let me launch this product," you've done some testing, you've done a good pilot, even you've verified your business case, right? The regulator also has more information, right, about any risks, the operations related to the product. And so now when you file an application for the full launch of the product, both parties, regulator and the payment participant, both have a very, very good view, a much better view of what to expect, and therefore what is actually being sought for approval.
Oh,
yes,
that's incredible. The sandbox idea is amazing. Has it worked in different jurisdictions? Is it something that is urgently needed?
Don't have to go too far. In Kenya, the CMA, Capital Markets Authority, did introduce a sandbox, right? And so that is already in play here in this country. In the payment space, yes, other jurisdictions, developed jurisdictions have introduced sandboxes as well. And I'm cautiously optimistic that our regulator here will also see it fit to have one.
Definitely.
Yes.
Beautiful. Gituku, we have to close this, but you seem like a Gen Z. I don't know whether as IPSL, that is something that rings when you're developing products. Are you thinking about generations and how they uptake some of this product, or is there demographic differences when it comes to imbibing some of this innovation?
Yes, definitely. First of all, I'll take the Gen Z comment as a real compliment. Thank you very much. Right? And let's not go into which generation I subscribe to.
Yeah.
But no, when it comes to, we definitely see the future of payments, within the younger population, right? And the older folks have already set in their ways of transacting, so we see the need definitely to think about the younger generation. And I'm therefore very delighted, like I said earlier on, let me just, for again, purpose of your audience, we know where I hope you do use PesaLink, right? But where do you find PesaLink, right? So PesaLink is available to you on your bank's mobile banking channels, USSD and apps, and also internet banking. Right, but today it's not just there, because, like I've said, if you go to, say, Tcash, you'll also find PesaLink. If you go to your Sacco's mobile banking app, you'll find PesaLink as well. Yes. If you go to fintech wallets like SasaPay, for example, right, which is targeting the younger population. If you look at organizations like Payless, you've been hearing about Payless, which is a new entrant to the market, all targeting the younger population, right? And we are there. We are ensuring that we are powering those kind of fintech wallets to be able to move money instantly. We look forward to very soon going into the person-to-merchant payment space as well, right, where consumers can make a payment directly from their mobile bank account or even from a fintech wallet and pay any merchant out there. It doesn't have to be a merchant of their own ecosystem.
All right.
Yeah. So beautiful. A lot to come.
A lot to come.
Yes, we're very excited about instant payments and future of instant payments in this country and globally. So please watch this space, and thank you very much for having me on the show this afternoon.
Wow. Thank you very much, Mr. Gituku Kirika, the Gen Z CEO, self-branded Gen Z CEO. That is a nice one. That is the CEO of Integrated Payment Services Limited. And he says that a lot is happening in the instant payment space, a lot of innovation, which is a beautiful thing, and still much to come. New ideas like a sandbox regulatory sandboxes where we can be able to sort of streamline some of these products. But that's where we put a full stop to Business Today. Thank you very much for being part of this journey over the past 1 hour. We appreciate you. My name is Nokip Kimboy. Up next, we have BOKTN. Stay tuned and bye-bye.